Hey everybody, it's Alan Fine, and I'm here with Stephen Nace, who's the Director of Marketing North America for Visit Wales. We are at Destination Britain, North America in San Francisco, and this is Insider Travel Report. You gave a great presentation the other day. It was complete, and there was a lot. We're not going to be able to give you it all, but we're going to give you the highlights. What do you want our travel advisors to know to start selling Wales with new stuff?
Yeah, so I focused on all of Wales in the presentation yesterday because we were trying to cover all the different regions, and the whole premise of this year is Visit Britain, see things differently, and I've always been confident that Wales is different and our product fit perfectly into that marketing campaign. So we pulled a few things out just to highlight what people might not know about Wales.
That's exactly what we want.
I started with a film and TV slide because, like I said, a lot of people have seen Wales in movies and TV but didn't know it was Wales.
That's whale spotting.
Yeah. So yeah, from like Harry Potter, James Bond, Doctor Who. Recently, we've had Sex Education is filmed there. Game of Thrones, House of Dragon just wrapped filming. Obviously, we've got Welcome to Wrexham, which is second season dropping next week, which has been really beneficial for us and a lot of eyes on Wales. So we've got a lot of iconic locations around film and TV that people probably didn't know that they could see. Yep. And then from there I started in Southwest Wales. So when we talk about Wales, it's easy to break it up into 4 regions just to kind of locate product and have an idea of what we're talking about. One of the newest openings, so Penderyn Distillery, they were the first single malt whiskey distillery in Wales. And it started in the Brecon Beacons, and it's been such a popular whiskey. And the tour of the distillery tasting that they've expanded. So they opened a second location. It's in North Wales, but that was 2021 in Llandudno. But earlier this year, they opened their Swansea location. So all 3 are now doing tours, tastings. They have a whiskey masterclass. So if you have real, whiskey enthusiasts, there's quite a bit going on in Wales for that now.
If you go to all 3, do you get a free drink?
You do not, but if you do...
Let's tell them about that idea.
If you take the tour, you get to try 2 of their whiskeys at the end. So, but yeah, not free, but it is a trade-friendly product. And then we also have, not a new product, but something that we have not really focused on a whole lot. We have a national botanic garden in South Wales. And it is, interesting fact, it's the largest single-span glass dome in the whole world. So it's a 500-acre property, and within the dome, they've got lots of exotic endangered plants. It's a nice attraction to visit, walk around, spend the day. And if you're into bird watching, they have a bird of prey exhibit, which they actually bring out these massive birds and fly them back and forth over your head. It's a little something different for going to visit a garden. And then also new this year, we have a museum of land speed that just opened. So if you're any racing speed enthusiasts, the long flat hard sands of Pendine have been a long time location for attempts at world speed records. Going back to the 1920s. So it's a really interesting museum. They also have some cabanas on site where you can stay over if you really want to see more of the museum and area. And then I jumped over into South Wales, so we moved east towards Cardiff. One of the attractions that was here last year for the first time, the Royal Mint, who was actually really popular last year, and they ended up in a lot of new tours. They weren't able to come this year, sadly, but they've launched a new exhibit around the coronation of King Charles. So it's called The Making of a Monarch. And they've got a whole new exhibit, and they've recreated the throne that you can take pictures on. And then that's in addition to their normal guided tour of the facility and where all the coins for the UK are minted. And they're doing a first-time Christmas theme this year. So they're going to have a holiday village complete with Santa and real snow that they're going to be making on site from November through December.
At the Mint.
At the Mint. Yeah. And then we're good. So In Cardiff, we've got, if you've ever walked around Cardiff, you would have stumbled into one of our shopping arcades. There's 7 of them, and they're all very unique and just really great shops to walk around. So Loving Welsh Food is a great tour of Cardiff. It's a walking tour, and Sean takes groups around for different things, tastings, get a bit of history of Cardiff. She's created one around the arcades. That's 4.5 hours. So she takes you through the city. You get a real kind of I'm not exactly sure how many stops.
You're not hungry after you're done.
No, she goes to all 7 arcades, and then we'll stop along the way for some food and drink bites that are unique to Wales. That's 4.5 hours, and she does really great tours. We also have Hensel Castle. They've also created a gin distillery, and they're now open fully for, they do gin tours of the distillery, tastings, cocktail master classes, things along those lines. So we have a lot of new culinary product that's come online in Wales. That just seems to be what the appetite's for these days.
That's a pun intended.
Food and drink experiences that are unique, to the culture and the location. Then I jumped up to Mid Wales. Most people may not have heard of the Center for Alternative Technology. So we call it CAT for short. It's CAT. They're celebrating 50 years they do research and development around sustainable solutions for modern world problems, climate change. And then on the site, they have the facility you can tour, but there's also woodlands and gardens, and they even have some eco cabins you can stay overnight there. So it's a really cool attraction. The Elon Valley Dams are this massive dam structure in Mid Wales. I believe they actually provide all the water to Manchester from the Elon Valley.
Some electricity, I presume?
I don't think it's hydroelectric, no, but it's a whole dam system that I think I was saying I like it because it's versatile. If you're just driving through Mid Wales, you can drive for free just across the dams, get out, take some pictures, or if you want in the visitor center, you can book a guide and do a tour, and they'll actually take you into one of the dams and up into the middle of it, and you kind of get to see the inner workings. And then they also have created 12 new walking tours. So also free, you park, and they'll kind of, depending on your skill level and how far you want to walk, they'll show you kind of where to start and end, and you can take in the dam system like that as well. And I had to mention wildlife watching because, again, see things differently. People wouldn't particularly think of Wales for wildlife, but we actually have quite a lot with 870 miles of coastline. There's quite a lot of water. From sea turtles to puffins and even dolphins that I was told that scientists have recently discovered to claim that the dolphins have a Welsh accent. That's unique to Wales, so I thought that was kind of fascinating.
That is.
Yeah, and I had to mention dark skies. So
certified dark skies. With no light pollution.
Yeah, so dark skies is an interesting one. It's a global thing, and there's different types. There's international dark sky reserves. There's certified dark skies. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But Wales, 18% of all the skies in Wales are certified dark, which is more than any country in the world. So any stargazing enthusiasts, and sometimes in the winter you can catch the northern lights in some of the darker parts of Wales. So it's cool to see if you're there on a clear night. It's quite beautiful. And then I jumped up to North Wales. I had to talk about Wrexham because Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney have now taken over the world with Wrexham and put a lot of eyes on Wales that we didn't expect, and it's been wonderful for us. So they're currently working on a football museum that's going to be in Wrexham, opening 2026, and it's basically going to celebrate the history of Welsh football and obviously be another visitor attraction for Wrexham along with the team.
What about the great little trains?
So trains in Wales. So obviously we work with a lot of the trade around, they're always asking about England and Scotland, and which are much more trainable destinations. In Wales, we're not big on like commuter trains, given our diverse mountainous landscape. What we do have are a lot of scenic trains and heritage steam rails, which are a really cool way to see this iconic countryside. So whenever we're putting together itineraries, we recommend, depending on where you are, hopping on one of these trains. They range anywhere from like an hour to 2 to 3, depending on the route. And you get to see different parts of Wales, in a different way. I always talk about the industrial landscape. So if you know any of the history of Wales, back in the day, Wales provided the majority of coal to the world. So obviously there was a huge coal mining community, and then at one point there was slate as well. They had a lot of slate mines in Wales. And obviously it came to a point where that was no longer the industry, and a lot of the sites just sat derelict. One great thing about the Welsh is they love to repurpose. They don't like to waste areas. So they turned some of the old slate mines into zip lining quarries. So especially in North Wales, we have one of the longest, fastest zip lines in the world over one of the old slate quarries. And then underneath one of the coal mines, they've created a trampoline cavern. It's called Bounce Below, which is great for kids and families. And I've done it by myself. It's super fun on its own. Oh, sorry. And then I went over to Anglesey, so Howland Moan. It's a sea salt factory. I would call it world famous. They ship the salt around the world. I remember one of Barack Obama's favorite chocolates had Howland Moan sea salt on top. But they also at their factory in Anglesey, they do tours of the salt making facility, which are actually really interesting and well done. And you get to learn about the process. And they have a great gift shop where they partner with a lot of local Welsh products that infuse their salt into things, as far as like gin and like salted caramel, all these. So the shop, every time I take groups in there, nobody leaves empty-handed. There's a little something for everyone. And they've opened a cafe on site that has really great food for a stop. And then now recently, their newest product, they're doing these seaweed baths. So they've taken old whiskey barrels and put them on their site facing the Menai Strait, which is where they get their seaweed and water from. And they have these, invigorating, skin rejuvenating seaweed baths.
You jump into the
whiskey barrel and you soak, and it rejuvenates the skin, and a unique spa experience. Pontesilta Aqueduct is one of our UNESCO heritage sites. So it's a 126-foot high aqueduct, of which you can hop on canal boats and do a tour across and back. And it's a really great way to see the landscapes of Wales in the area.
We haven't even talked about any castles. How about one?
Yeah. So in North Wales, a lot of people will know Carnarvon Castle. It's not new. It's been there since 1283, so it's got a little bit of history behind it. But what is new, usually in the UK, for a listed building, it's very difficult to get approval to do any kind of alterations. They got approval on Carnarvon Castle to add a lift to make it handicap accessible. So there's now a viewing deck on the roof that you can access from the visitor center,
That's in keeping with your new chairman's mandate for accessible attractions.
Yeah, in Wales in general, we're always trying to keep up with. We're a very sustainable country. We're trying to be more accessible wherever we can, and just be open to everybody. And that's our goal.
Well, Stephen, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
Good luck this year. And this is Alan Fine for Insider Travel Report.